When you are purchasing a new home and you are in escrow, you need to make sure that by the time you close that deal, you know everything that's going to pop up in that property. We've all heard the horror stories of when people have closed on a home, no inspections, no contingencies, and they are ready to go. And then they just run into issues and problems. And my recommendation as a realtor is to always do inspections and make sure that you are taken care of and you know what is going to arise after you close the deal. You can't always figure everything out that's going to happen, but at least you can find the symptoms that you may need to watch out for as you continue throughout your home ownership. In this video, we are going to go over the top 3 inspections that you need to do when you open escrow in order to make sure that you know what risks need to be mitigated beforehand. My name is Alex Stoeber, and let's get into it. The first inspection that I would always recommend is the general home inspection. The general home inspection is when an expert is going to come out and actually look at the whole property, every nook and cranny, hopefully, from the crawl space, if it's a raised foundation, to the attic, as long as it has one, and also the roof and the foundation of the home. They're going to look at different symptoms throughout the home, if there are cracks in the walls, if it's sitting on a slant on the side of a hill, for example, and it was built before 1980, then that general home inspector is going to recommend a foundation expert to come out and tell you what the damage might be. Also, a geologist, for example, may be another expert that you want to have come out and take a look at that property. But before you have the home inspector, you don't really know what needs to be inspected in those aspects of the home. Also, if there is a lot of wear and tear on the roof, for example, that home inspector is going to recommend a roof inspector that needs to come out. These are all things that you want to identify as soon as possible, because when you have a tight timeline and window for your investigation contingency, you want to know, well, what that cost is going to be, if any replacements need to happen or if any repairs need to happen. And you need to figure out if you're going to ask the seller for any help with those repairs or if you're just going to take care of them on your own. Regardless, have your home inspector come out right away when you get into escrow. The second inspector that I always recommend have come out right away is the sewer lateral inspector. The sewer lateral inspector is going to find the clean out for your sewer and run a camera through the line to make sure that there aren't going to be issues where they're going to have to dig up your beautifully manicured front yard in order to pull out the sewer lateral and replace it, right? You don't want to trench throughout your whole front yard, and it is expensive, can be very expensive in order to have that done. And it's always best to be proactive with that. For example, if there is Orangeburg piping, which is essentially cardboard or paper mache for your sewer lateral line, and it is crumbling, it's deteriorating, well, then it's a lot easier to just run a pipe through that in order to replace it. And the sewer lateral inspector will tell you exactly how that process works. But it's much easier to go from point to point, from the house to the street with that kind of piping, rather than it breaks and then they have to go in and replace the whole thing, shut down your water for a week, and it's a whole project. Have your sewer lateral inspection done right away so that you know if that needs to happen or if you need to have it repaired, and also what the costs may be, because you're doing a cost-benefit analysis throughout this whole home buying process, and that's going to give you as much information as possible in order to determine if there are issues with the home generally or if there's issues with the sewer lateral. The third inspection I would recommend is a pest inspection. This pest inspection means that this inspector is going to come all around your property, go in your attic, go in your crawl space, find if there are rodent issues, find if there are termite issues. In California, there are termite issues on almost every house that I've ever sold. So you should definitely know if there are active infestations, if the house needs to be tented, if there are any repairs that need to be done throughout the home. They'll also find fungus issues. If there's too much water in a certain part of the home and it is getting damaged, then you also want to know that as well so that you can have an invoice created or a quote created so you know what that cost of repair might be. These are the top 3 inspections I would recommend. Of course, these are all inspections that are going to show you symptoms of other issues that might be happening that you may want to figure out solutions to in the future. They're going to give you a general idea of the whole home, what the cost may be on the surface, and then also they're going to give you an idea of, well, if you want the home or not. There are nearly limitless inspections that you could do on a property, but until you have these 3 done, I would say, well, it's really up to you. It's really up to you which ones you want to do, which ones you feel comfortable with, but these 3 will definitely make you feel a little bit more comfortable in buying your new home. Once again, your general home inspection, your sewer lateral, and your pest inspection are the 3 I'm going to recommend. And as always, meet with your realtor, talk to the local expert, and talk to them about environmental issues or anything else that they recommend you look into as well. Thank you so much for watching. And if you got value out of this video, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications for future videos. I'm out.